Welcome to the Fighting on Film podcast, the podcast all about classic and obscure war movies, from the Normandy landings to the days of chivalry and swords. If it's been captured on film, we're going to try and cover it. I'm Robbie of RM Military History.
I'm Matthew Moss of Historical Firearms and the Armourer's Bench.
As you'll know, Fighting on Film and Warfare Media partnered up to give our listeners a huge discount on high-quality Cold War posters. But now there's more. Warfare Media also offers clothing and the chance to order OP4 DPM camouflage uniforms. Support the podcast and use the code FOF20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Don't delay, visit warfaremedia.net today. Hello, welcome back to the FOF pod. Now, after our big birthday bash last week, we're just finishing up the cake, tidying away the bunting and putting away our party hats. So we thought we'd cover a very often requested film. It is, of course, 1995's Crimson Tide. I can hear Paul Burns somewhere going, hooray!
Go Obama, roll tide.
Roll Tide indeed. But before we dive in, don't forget to leave the show a 5-star review if you'd be so kind on your podcast app of choice. It really helps the show grow, helps us find new listeners, and you can also support us on Patreon for just a couple of pounds a month, and you get access to our Patreon-only series, War Movie Adjacent, and take part in the Patreon Pick Film Vote, and a whole heap more. Quick hypnosis, and then Matt's intercast. The captain of a submarine wants to launch an attack while his deputy waits for confirmation. Their conflict escalates into a mutiny, with both of them fighting for command of the sub.
The viewing room has never seen so much tension. Yeah, that's a succinct way of describing it. Apparently loosely based on an incident that happened on a Soviet sub during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh yeah, that lad, he wanted
to
fire the nuclear weapons.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best sub movies of the modern era, alongside Red October, isn't it? It's
the one I go to when I think of sub films in my head.
Under the water boats. Let's go.
Yeah. Boaty boys. Yeah. Right, Matt, you're into cast, and it's a star-studded film this week.
Yep, it is led off by none other than Denzel Washington as Lieutenant Commander Ronald Ron Hunter, who is the XO. 2-time Oscar winner, 5-time nominee. A Soldier's Story, 1994, Glory, 1989, Courage Under Fire, 1996, The Siege, 1998, and this is the first of 5 collaborations between Denzel and Tony Scott, the director, the others being Man on Fire, 2004, Deja Vu, 2006, The Taking of Pelham 123, 2009, and Unstoppable, 2010. Lots of people were associated with the 2 lead roles over its kind of development. Andy Garcia was in the running for the Hunter role at one point, as was Brad Pitt. Oh. Washington is opposite the late, great Gene Hackman, who plays Captain Frank Ramsey, the CO. Again, 2 Oscars, Lord knows how many nominations. First of the Fight, 1967, Bridge Too Far, 1977, March or Die, 1977. Proud to say we've covered all of those.
We
Under
have,
Fire,
yeah.
1983, again, we've covered that one. Uncommon Valor, 1983, we have. We mentioned it anyway.
Oh, we mentioned it, yeah.
In the retrospective, we haven't done it properly yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Uncommon Valor, we have covered the same year. Bat 21, also covered. The Package, I watched recently. Really like that film. Geronimo, An American Legend, which we've covered on a show and tell. And Behind Enemy Lines, 2001, which we haven't covered yet. So there's still some Hackman out there for us to mine. Tommy Lee Jones was allegedly attached at one point to play the role of Ramsey, which would have been interesting, although he would have been rather young-ish in 95. No, perhaps not. Perhaps not. Opposite someone relatively young. That would have worked quite well.
Him and Brad Pitt would have still worked, I think.
Yeah. So John Voight and Dennis Hopper were also considered.
Ooh, maybe.
Do you want to know who was going to possibly be opposite Brad Pitt, though?
Yes.
Al Pacino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
95 could have been Heat and Crimson Tide, a Pacino year.
What do you think of Klaus, witch hunter? Ah?
Amazing. Then we've got George Dunza playing Chief of the Boat Cobb, Deer Hunter 1978, The Beast 1988, Viggo Mortensen as Weps, the weapons officer, Left Lieutenant Peter Ince, G.I. Jane 1998, Aragorn in Lord of the Rings between 2001 and
They're war
2003,
films. We
obviously.
can cover them. They're
We
war
can cover
films.
them one day. And then Alteristi in 2006.
Mm.
The late great James Gandolfini played Lieutenant Bobby Doherty, the supply officer. 3 Emmys and a Golden Globe. He also appeared in The Last Castle, 2001, with the late great Rob Redford. In The Loop, 2009, and Zero Dark 30 in 2012 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Craven played Lieutenant Zimmer, the communications officer. Lilo Brancato Jr. played Chief Petty Officer Russell Vossler, also in Sopranos Season 2. Rocky Carroll played Lieutenant Darwick Westergaard as the ops officer, who also appeared in Born on the 4th of July in 1989. Danny Nuki played Petty Officer Danny Rivetti, and the sonar supervisor also played Lieutenant Shepard in The Rock. Steve Zahn plays Seaman William Barnes. Steve Zahn's been in a lot of, or Zane, been in a lot of comedies. He's
Mm-hmm.
currently in The Silo at the moment on Apple.
Oh, right. Okay.
That kind of stuff. Eric Bruscotter plays Benefield. He appeared in Tour of Duty in 1987, the TV adaptation of War of the Worlds, which was kind of like a direct follow-on from the 1953 movie, where it was like they buried the Martians in
Oh, I've seen
underground
that.
things and they
Yeah.
regenerate and come back or something.
Yeah.
And then he was also in Starship Troopers in 1997.
Of course he was. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Felipe, in his very first movie, plays Seaman Grattan. He was also in Way of the Gun with Benicio del Toro in 2001, which has got some great shootout scenes.
Mm.
And then Flags of Our Fathers in 2006. And then we will round ourselves out with Rick Schroeder as Lieutenant Paul Hellerman, Damage Control Officer. Of course, he appeared in The Lost Battalion as Colonel Whittlesey.
Oh, wow. Because when me and Matt were watching this, we were saying how stacked this cast is in terms of fame at the time and then what they go on to do. So
Hmm.
I've conglomerated all of their awards, major awards, into what I'm calling the Gong Show. So it's 4 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTAs, 1 Tony Award, 8 Screen Actors Guild Awards, 3 Emmys, and 7 Golden Globes. I mean,
8 SAGs, wow.
it's the pedigree on show here is phenomenal. You know, like you will be a fan of something that these actors have done. And not
Oh
many
yeah, no
movies you can
doubt, no
say that
doubt.
about. It's absolutely stacked. So moving into production, which I think is stacked as well. You've got directed, as Matt mentioned, directed by the late Tony Scott, the late great Tony Scott, I will add, brother of Ridley Scott, well known for his action film work, including Top Gun, The Last Boy Scout, True Romance, Man on Fire, and the 2004 remake of Taking of Pelham 123. The screenplay was written by Michael Schiffer. 2002's The Four Feathers is his only real other war credit, but he did also help write the first 3 Call of Duty PC games starting in 2003.
Oh,
He did Finest Hour
cool.
and I think Call of Duty 2 or 3, which
Hmm.
is quite a pedigree because they were very well received. So a little bit on the background of the plot and how it came to be. The producers and writers of the film were showed around the Trident submarine USS Florida. They taped the crew at work and later pitched the early plot idea to the US Navy. That storyline was said to be Hunt for Red October meets 2001 A Space Odyssey, which would have seen a submarine crew battle with their submarine's computer system to stop it launching nuclear missiles that would start World War III. The Navy
I'm sorry,
responded
Dave. I
saying,
need to launch the nuclear weapons.
I can't let you do that, Gene. The Navy responded saying the scenario was implausible as the firing of nuclear missiles had to have a human element sending them. So the story was rewritten with the mutiny element with the backdrop of the Russian separatists as sort of like a overarching plot line.
Hmm.
Later, after that was all sorted, the US Navy withdrew their support for the film as they objected heavily to the mutiny plotline. So the French
Bet
Navy
they did.
stepped in to help, yeah, with parts of the film being shot on the aircraft carrier Foch, or Foch, or Foch. I think it's Foch, isn't it? Yeah, Foch. Um,
Hmm. After
with
the
the
World War One
ex.
Marshal,
That's it.
Marshal Foch.
Yes, yes. With the ex-US
The
Navy
French were like,
USS.
Tony, of course you can film your war film on the boat, but you may do
Oh, of
it. Go
course.
ahead.
Yes, we have no beef with the mutiny
Mais
bloodline.
oui.
We love to strike. So the ex-USS Barbell submarine was used for some external shots, when shooting began in mid '94.
I always wondered why there was like sparks coming down either side. And apparently it's because they were decommissioning ships in that shipyard where they filmed it. The conning tower had already gone, so they built their own conning tower that
Yeah,
looked like an trident.
and they got footage of the Alabama by flying a helicopter over it while it was on
Read that.
exercise,
Love that.
forcing it to surface. Because they wanted a shot of it surfacing, and then they told them to
Allegedly,
clear off.
Scott bribed a civilian dockyard worker to let him know when it was leaving.
Yeah, got big baller moves
Allegedly.
from Tony. Yeah, it's a handful of like an
Tony
envelope full
ain't
of
playing.
bills, being like, just let me know when that sub slinks away. So additional
It's me.
dialogue
You
was
can trust
written.
me. I'm Tony Scott,
Exactly. That's a brand name, I
the best
guarantee it. I
Scott brother.
stand by it. Yes, yes, well, more on that later. Um, Additional dialogue was written by Quentin Tarantino, who wrote much of the pop culture lines that the enemy below the Star Trek Silver Surfer lines. But apparently he
Mm.
clashed with Washington on set over what Washington called racist dialogue. But
Yeah, he
Tarantino.
disagreed with his use of the N word, didn't he?
That's it, yeah.
Apparently.
But Tarantino later said the pair had buried the hatchet, and I think Denzel Washington did a talk show where he said that they're friends again. You know, they're on better terms.
Mm.
So the score was by two-time Academy Award winner Hans Zimmer, Lion King, Gladiator, Interstellar, 2017's Dunkirk, but to name but a few. I mean, it's absolutely stacked here.
Very 90s, very Zimmer.
Oh yeah, very synthy, orchestral. It's great. Film for
A lot of
53 million.
like dun, 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 bum, 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 like vamp music while people are walking places, running places. Sorry, it's a 90s movie.
Scuttling around on the submarine. This is the music that we use. A film for 53 million, and it made 157 million at the box office. Financial critical success. Released on May 12th, 1995, in a month where you could have also seen Rob Roy, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Casper, Friday, and a Goofy movie.
Wow, one for
What a
everyone in there.
one for the whole
Do you want to
family.
see Tim Ross get
Genuinely.
decapitated, or do you want to see
Yeah.
Goofy give it a go?
Oh yeah, yeah. Or do you want to see a friendly
The
ghost?
Barbenheimer Oppenheimer Barbie mix of its day, right there.
Rob Roy Hard.
Roy Hard.
Roy Hard. You could
Yeah,
have had Roy Hard. Let's
yeah.
make it a thing. Go get a time machine.
Crimson Goof.
I like it. So let's Crimson slide on to the end of production. Oh yeah, that was good.
That was
The
nice.
score won a Grammy for the best instrumental composition in 1993. The film was nominated for 3 Oscars for sound editing, film editing, and sound editing. Sorry, for sound, film editing, and sound editing, but lost all three to Braveheart and Apollo 13, respectively. I can't believe it didn't win anything.
It was a big year, and it
A
did well at the
huge
box
year for
office.
film.
It got a Simpsons spoof episode. What more does it want?
True. And yeah, that episode is fantastic. Me and Matt watched it right after we watched Crimson Tide, didn't we?
That's how you do it. That's how you
It
do
really
Crimson
does.
Tide.
Yeah.
You do Crimson Tide, then you do Simpson Tide.
So on to the retro review, which comes from Entertainment Weekly from May 12th, 95 by Owen Gleiberman. And he says, what makes Crimson Tide a riveting pop drama is the way the conflict comes to the fore in the battle between two men. The end of the world may be around the corner, but what holds this up is the sight of two superlatively fierce actors working at the top of their game. The film records a passage from one type of military consciousness to another. It's about the limits as well as the power of American might. A score.
Ooh, A. Nice.
Yeah, very good. So what did you guys think as we get on to the one word review?
Did they like it, Rob?
I think they did, yeah.
I think they
Well,
did.
I think the general consensus is quite a good movie. If you've got 5 minutes, whack it on. No, what they really said was. So we have Jem Dudaku who says tense, as in really nail-bitingly tense. Paul Burns says yes, at last. He also offers up an additional 4 one-word reviews. He says mutiny, cigar, lippies and ears horses, torpedoes. Adam Christian says Silver Surfer, Kevin Getz, suffocating, AD Bond, enjoyable. Jane Roll Tide Roll. The Night Irish, tense. Brian Williams, Alabama. Paul Hicks, Lippy Zanier. Nick Hughes says, I can't describe in one word, but my description of Crimson Tide is it's actually a medieval French royal court drama set on a US naval nuclear sub. The king losing his grip, the sensible Dauphin ready to challenge him, and the ritual of anointing with the nuclear key. That's a great read. I like that.
Nice.
Bobos Cabos says concur. Orb's Miniature World, Kirby, and Ian May's argumentative. And we will round out with Christian Lipardi, who goes, Simpson Tide is the superior tide.
Wow.
Wow, we.
There's an argument to be made there.
And I think that gets us into the alley tally. Dive, dive, dive.
It's time for Alley Tally on Fighting on Film.
Chief of the boat, bring us level. Gene's little navy woolly pulley and red cap ensemble.
Oh, very cool, aren't they?
Is right there.
Yeah, really cool.
It's just, they're in the middle of that duel with the Akula class. And Gene's just like in his cabin, like chilling, reading Denzel Washington's like personnel file. And
dossier,
he's never commanded a boat. He's never been in battle. The closest he's been to battle is a seminar. He's there steaming with his dog, sat in his little woolly pulley. He's like, were you feeling chilly during the battle, were you, Gene? You felt like you put your jumper on. It's like,
yeah.
He wears it for the rest of the film, and I think it's a nice visual cue.
Literally, while Hunter is receiving battle experience.
Yeah,
like it's really
Hunter
good.
becomes the only US submarine commander to sink another submarine in combat since World War II.
In terms of firearms, there's more in this than you'd think. You got Beretta M9s, Colt 45, M16A2s. I think Mossberg shotguns.
Yeah, 870s. Yeah,
870s.
No, they're Remington 870s. Yeah,
Remingtons.
800s.
Yeah. You got nice little sort of Alice Webbing pouches, belts that come out. Very cool from the armory. You've got
cheeky little Colt 727 carbine.
Oh yeah, very nice, very nice.
One guy has. Gandolfini is the only guy with a 1911 though.
Yeah,
where did they get that on the boat? Why have they got a 1911? Everyone else has got M9s.
It's a hangover from the Gulf War, perhaps.
Stupid, actually. No,
Matt's not having it. Matt's not having it at all. Or maybe that was Gene's personal sidearm. And he got it.
Gandolfini is his boy, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. He's absolute shit.
I've got your pistol, Captain. Oh, you've put your jumper on. You look great.
What I love about that is Gene explicitly says to Hunter, I've got no time for kiss asses, yet his entire staff are. Mm-hmm. It's like he's a walking contradiction. I really like it. Mm-hmm. And you got like flak jackets there at the end. Some great, like, just all the types of naval uniform. You got like, the blues for the guys doing the mechanical work.
The little chore jackets they have when they're
really cool.
At the parade.
Yeah, I love it.
And the little raincoats and the little hat things.
Yeah, there's just the captain's uniform. Gene's got all of his medals on show, but Hunter hasn't got any. It's like this constant reminder of like military rank and class and experience. It's really well conveyed on the ship. I think it's very strong for that. But of course, my alley pick this week is Denzel Washington's very, very, very alley Air Max 1993s in the white and menthol colourway that he wears when he goes for a little jog around the submarine.
Who knew you could jog around a submarine? Who knew?
I know, it's massive. Massive, isn't it? Just do laps, I guess. Because if the one thing this movie does is it makes that ship seem massive, claustrophobic, huge, and small, all in the same time. It's a really amazing piece of filmmaking in terms of making this massive sprawling thing that is very thin, but also it's like a cricket bat. It's very, very wide, but very, very short. It's like hard to do in a movie.
Dimensions this week on Fighting on Film.
Yeah, but they really convey that, and so
no, they do. And Gene takes his dog for a piss in the only spot on the submarine where it isn't gratings, so it doesn't go through. Which is very, very considerate of him. Whoever's following him with a mop.
There was definitely a dude who got a drip of piss on him for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I bet the captain's hated for just piss drip. Just the dog piss dripping everywhere. Just like, fuck's sake! I'm trying to load a torpedo here. Do you mind?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Is this dog piss? What is this?
What is it? What is this? Oh, I got dog piss on my Nike Air Maxes. Christ. Um, it was one of the last Air Max shoes to be designed fully by Nike legend Tinker Hatfield. He would sort of step down from overall Air Max designs after this.
Oh, wow.
Would work on the Jordan brand a lot more. And I also did a little bit of research. Like Washington was like a bit of a sneaker man in the 90s. Like he was always
I'm sure.
packed with, the latest Nike shoe on. So I think it might be either product placement or maybe Denzel had
Tony
product
was like,
placement
I'm
at the
going to get a
time.
close up on those great Nikes that you were in there, Denzel.
Yeah.
Just
Get
keep
a few
jogging.
quid off of
Keep jogging.
old
Keep
shoe
jogging.
night.
The
Yeah.
Navy's not giving us any money. Nike certainly is. Let's get a shot of those bad boys.
Fair point, actually. Maybe it is just straight product placement.
Could be.
The submarine itself is just alley. Like getting that much
Cool, isn't
out
it?
of it.
Apparently,
yeah.
the command center, the viewing room, was built on a huge hydraulic gimbal, and it was the same
Gimbal, yeah.
set that was used for Hunt for Red October, but
Oh,
regressed.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I watched
yeah,
an
nice.
interview with Washington where he said it was on a gimbal, and he's like, it took a bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
And then they asked him about acting with Gene, and they said, "Hey, how do you find it intimidating working with someone of Gene's like stardom?" And he said, "Well, no, because we'd met on Power with Sidney Lumet like 10 years before, and he said, although we had no scenes, we rehearsed together, so I had acted with him before, and we knew each other, so it was easier on set." And I think definitely for an actor, if you've worked with someone before and you know their strengths and weaknesses, it makes it a lot easier to work with. I think if this had been Denzel's first big movie, I think you might have got a different performance out of him. But it shows on screen, like they're just really not coming off each other in an amazing way. It's just there aren't
Yeah, I
many
read that
films
Denzel
like
was
this.
super excited to work with Gene. I think that was one of the reasons he took the movie.
No, I think you're right.
But no, you can see there's great chemistry just all the way through.
For sure.
And that's what
Yeah.
makes the movie. That's it, bottom line, isn't it, really?
No, really, yeah. There's a lot of elements at play here, but it is these performances and this cast. There's something about it. We'll get in more on that in the final thoughts. So maybe on to favourite scenes, if you've got any more.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, well, we'll induct the USS Arizona into the
Of course, yes.
fighting off film retirement home for vehicles and now seaborne craft.
The Sea Wing, sponsored by Nike.
Oh, amazing. There we go. We got it. Yeah, the Tinker Hatfield wing. There we go. So, on to favourite scenes.
Hi, my name's Alex Brockdorf. I play Mikey in Warfare. You're listening to Fighting on Film.
Obviously, there's two. There's the big confrontation. The mess room scene is great too. But I really love the nuance of the duel between Alabama and the Akula class.
Yeah.
I think that's really nicely done. And it's right up there with classics like Enemy Below and Run Silent, Run Deep, and all those classic submarine movies. It's right there, and Red October as well. It's just got that tension that you need in a submarine movie.
Yes.
Although they kind of forget that there's a submarine out there, and they're like, let's just have a mutiny and then surface a bit, and then surface a bit more, and then they're like, oh shit, there's a Russian submarine.
Yeah, well, the Akula luckily doesn't spot them, so they've got all the time of the world. They must have. I always, my headcanon there is that the crew of that is like separatist, so they're like maybe reservists or something. So they're not on their A game.
the separatists or the Russian Navy crew that's gone over to the separatist side. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because there's like a throwaway exposition where it's like they've got 4 submarines that have gone over to the separatists.
That's
kind
it.
of thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is that sequence is really well done, and they do a thing where, and it's hard for me to describe it, but sometimes in submarine films, and maybe it's because I've only seen kind of 50s and 40s ones, sometimes it's clear model work. You can see it. It lacks something, but they shoot the. I don't know if it's CG or if it is model work as well, maybe a mix, but they shoot the shoot in terms of filming. They shoot the submarines in such a way where they look really imposing and daunting, but you never get a real full-on side view of them. So
And I think that adds to
that.
that. I think the fact that you can't see that suggests that it's too big to fit on screen.
Yeah,
And it gives that psychological element of like, oh, these are big things underwater.
Yeah, they don't hang on it. They don't hang on it too much, and I really like that.
You get kind of like aft quarter shots and forward quarter shots seen along it, but not like a full flank side view.
It feels like a dogfight, but with submarines. It's a really good, like really great way they've done that. You know, it has that sort of like rolling aspect to it, like the the sea movement of the sea.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like unlike a surface battle, it's 3D, isn't it?
Yeah, and the 90s CG just
Three
stands up so
dimensional.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do like that sequence, and I think it's the CG on it, or the effects, the model work on it have stood up really well. I haven't looked into the production side, but it just works really well. It's not overdone. There's not too much of it. There's just enough to keep it exciting, because the real tension's on board, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, but they get their kill though, don't they? You know, they do
They
get.
do.
But they, but unlike
The classic
other movies,
torpedo going down the side of the.
Oh, it's
just
brilliant.
missing.
Yeah, glancer.
Oh, is it going to
Yeah.
hit them? No, it's all right.
But then but they get hurt themselves, and that sets up the last act, which is really good.
Classic crush depth tension.
Oh yes, yes. So mine is the Clausewitz. I've got two as well. It is that scene where they blow up at each other, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for me, it's the Clausewitz chat because it sets up that confrontation really well. They're chatting about loads of different things. They start off talking about a bomb dropping, and it comes on to Clausewitz, and I'll just read you some of the quotes. Captain Ramsey says, at Naval War College, it was metallurgy and nuclear reactors, not 19th century philosophy. War is a continuation of politics by any other means, from Clausewitz. And Hunter says, I think, sir, what he actually was trying to say was a little more, and then Captain Ramsey cuts him off and says, complicated. Hunter, yes, the purpose of war is to serve a political end, but the true nature of war is to serve itself. Ramsey says, I'm very impressed. In other words, the sailor most likely to win the war is the one most willing to part company with politicians and ignore everything except the destruction of the enemy. You'd agree with that? Hunter, I'd agree with that. That's what Clausewitz was trying to say. Ramsey says, but you wouldn't agree with it. Hunter says, no, sir, I do not. No, I think that in the nuclear world, the only enemy. No, I just think that in the nuclear world, the true enemy can't be destroyed. Ramsey says, attention on deck. Von Clausewitz will now tell us exactly who the real enemy is. Captain Ramsey says, Von. All the men around him are laughing. Hunter says, in my humble opinion, in the nuclear world, the true enemy is war itself. And that short exchange where Ramsey is kind of trying to get one over on Hunter as the kind of like, you might have book smarts, but I've got genuine combat experience and I have commanded a ship before. It shows Ramsey's like laser-sighted, almost one-trackness to what he's doing. He is a experienced commander with a job to do. He will do that job to the best of his ability, but yet he understands if the button's got to be pushed, it's got to be pushed. But then you get from Hunter is this more cerebral, sort of a different military thinking, a different officer class from Hunter. But this is this whole thing running throughout the movie. And me and Matt, you said it to me, and I picked up on it as well. Is that both men make valid points, and both views make sense as well. So then neither of them are wrong the whole film, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, I disagree with that, but up until a certain point, then they're both. I think their approaches are both equally valid.
They both have skin in the game, and they both have their own weight behind what they're doing. And it's like an immovable force meets an unmovable object here. And then it feeds beautifully into that scene where Gene and Denzel have their big falling out, and Gene's removed from command. And again, two views, both valid, but both at loggerheads. But in the end, protocol wins the day. So the XO has to give his approval for this command, and that in turn makes him able to relieve Gene. So this culmination of doing what you need to do, but then also having to follow regulation as well. So they're stopped by their own system. I find that really interesting.
Well, the system breaks down. I think that's the key crux of it, because what happens is there are two different schools of thought, and it's Gene that moves, that becomes so focused on fulfilling the mission, launching the weapons, protecting America, saving the day, disregards the proper protocol of removing Denzel from position. And that's the moment, I think, when he becomes too blinded by his duty as he sees it. But Washington's character understands his duty is to be a bit more flexible and to interpret the regulations in a clear-cut way. But, don't, if there's time, check whether we're nuking people, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But then you get the great line of, "I've made my decision. I'm the captain of this boat. Now shut the fuck up." And in that moment, you see, I mean, it's Gene Hackman doing Gene Hackman hot-headedness in only a way Gene can do. But then you also see, okay, this is where the buck stops with this guy. Like he knows he's in command and in charge, and he knows he can pretty much get away with anything as long as the system doesn't break down, and it has. And then you get that later on where Ramsey is 100% ready to commit first degree murder, shooting Wepps, and then offering to shoot that other guy if Wepps doesn't do what he's told. And it's like, but then the beautiful thing about this movie is that I'm still kind of backing them both, because I'm like, well, both of them kind of are right. They're not, what they're doing might be wrong, and shooting firing a nuclear missile is a massive risk, a massive thing to do. Yet they're both kind of right. Even at the end, it's this amazing kind of what the movie offers up to you as a viewer to make you think about, okay, command structure, nuclear war, like killing hundreds of thousands of people. But yet they're both kind of right. It's a really expertly written film in that regard, and not many blockbusters of the 90s that are popcorn flicks have this kind of level of deepness to them. It's a very rare movie in that regard, for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think we are definitely charging headlong towards final thoughts.
I think we really are.
Hello there. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to let you know that you can now join our supporting cast over on Patreon. As thanks for your support, you'll be able to help us pick films, submit questions for guests, have first pick on brand new and exclusive merch, and much more. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the turning point that completely undermines Gene's position is when he threatens to shoot that weapons petty officer. Yeah. That's when Viggo Mortensen's character Webs should have really gone, you know what, I don't think Gene's as level-headed as he's...
No, I think having a bad day.
I probably shouldn't give him the launch key.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't do that. You know what? So his character has a lot of flip-flopping going on. I think it's one of those films that have a lot of interesting kind of cerebral moments where there's conversation about, horses that are born black but, are best known as being white, the Lipanzas. And it's like, is that a veiled reference to race? Is there a subtext here?
Yeah.
There's kind of little things going on all the way through. Obviously, the jousting in the mess. The initial interview is tense, but playful.
Yeah, I've read. Sorry, just to back your thing up there, I have read before online an essay about this movie once before, that it can be seen as a take on perceived how different races perceive intellectualism. And learned and sort of like academic background, things like that. I've definitely read that somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, and that comes close to my read because it's a clash of two correct approaches at the beginning of the film. Because really the two approaches that they take up until the point where the mutiny occurs, that's what jars the system out of working as a failsafe that it's supposed to be. Gene's wrong to try and overrule the XO. But he does it because he's driven to fulfill his duty as he sees it. And then Denzel's driven to prevent war at all costs because he comes from a more academic, cerebral approach to this. He sees that as being his duty as well. And that's where the two systems kind of knock each other out of alignment and enable this mutiny thing to happen.
Yeah.
and that's kind of reinforced at the end of the movie where there's the board of inquiry and the admiral's like, you've caused a hell of a shitstorm here, but we're going to cover it up
Yeah.
because there's
Bigger things at
bad
stake
things are going
here.
on. Things are going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just a really interesting movie on a number of levels because you're doing post Cold War. There's like newsreel footage of Chechnya and Grozny and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff going on, and you've got Russian separatists. Then you've got Russia threatening to nuke Japan for some reason. I don't know why. It's
Japan
never
catching flack
explained.
for no reason. Yeah.
Just yeah. Someone was
Maybe
thinking
the separatist man had Chinese allies and he was
maybe
going to do them a favor,
maybe
perhaps. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, and I just think it's really interesting that Tony kept it so cerebral. Because when you think about it, he could have gone blockbuster. He could have done a big thing, and he was more than well known for doing a bit of a blockbuster '90s
Yeah.
classic.
Could have had a
But
shootout in there for sure. Doesn't
this
do
is
it.
what I was going to say. You could have had a little submarine firefight, and that would have been peak '90s. And Tony did so well to resist the urge to do a '90s gunfight, something The Rock-esque,
Yeah,
something
you're
Con
right.
Air like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
completely, more power to Tony, keeping it cerebral. That's all I can say. There are not many who could have, brought the gravitas needed to the two roles. I mean, we've talked through most of them in cast there that were possible for the roles, but I think Denzel and Gene together are it's one of those iconic pairings with good writing, a solid premise, a director that doesn't want to push them too far and wants to give them space because you can see the space that they've been given to kind of dance around these roles and work into them. And it works so well. It's got big K Mutiny vibes as well, and
It does.
it has that kind of oomph to it where it's like, where's this going to go?
Yeah.
Because it flips backwards and forwards. And that last 60 minutes of the movie are all in real time, more or less, because it's
Pretty
60 minutes
much.
to launch, 60 minutes ish in the film. And I think that works really, really well because it just keeps the tension
Yeah. There's
up
no
there.
lull here. There's no lull with this film.
Oh no, it flies by. It has
Yeah.
such good pacing.
It really does.
Just a really well paced, really well shot movie. The only thing I would disagree with is I don't really like Zimmer's score.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think the choral stuff it's too reminiscent of the Russian choral stuff from Red October.
Okay. Well,
If
maybe.
you know what I mean. And
I
like
don't mind it. I don't mind
you're
it.
doing like a choral link to submarines. Is that what we're doing here? And the very '90s kind of soundtrack is very '90s. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just very
No, nothing
'90s.
wrong with it at all.
There's not a lot to criticize in this film.
No, there's not. I've got it down here that it, like I'll echo most of what Matt said. To be fair, it's an exceptional mid-90s blockbuster that holds up just as well as it did in '95. Powerhouse performances from a Hollywood great and an up-and-coming and soon-to-be powerhouse in '95. This is almost like passing the baton on, really. Expertly paced, directed, lit, scored, and written. I think it's got some. It's lit beautifully. The direction is taut, but yet, as Matt said, it allows the movie to breathe. It allows you to rest as a viewer, but also keep up that sort of nail-biting pace that a lesser director probably would have ruined or messed up. For me, Tony Scott is the better all-round filmmaker than his brother. It could be controversial, but I think Tony made better
Wrong,
blockbusters.
Scott Guy. God damn it!
Yeah,
If you know Walk Hard, and that's the
yeah,
reference there. But
I remember that now. Yeah, but no, I really do. I really do admire Tony. A lot of Tony's work. I think he was such a good director, and it's such a shame that he passed away. Because I think he had so much more in him. And I also will go out on a limb, and I think it's one of the most complete films we've covered in a while. Like I can't pick anything up on it that's bad here. Like for me, it's
No, no,
such a
exactly.
perfect little film, effortlessly rewatchable. I've seen it 4 or 5 times now, and I never go in going, oh, okay, now's coming this bit, now's coming that bit, because it has this great tension overall, and it has also this great kind of Russian separatist thing overarching it, which is just as interesting as the movie itself. Like, I'd happily watch a movie about the things that they're telling me that's going
Mm,
on that I can't see,
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
true.
really believable and plausible. And obviously,
What I didn't mention at the beginning was the really cool cameo from Richard Balarani, who was a
mhm.
former NBC news anchor who
Oh yes,
was White House correspondent and an overseas correspondent in the 60s and 70s, and he's there on the Foch doing the classic movie news exposition, explaining what's going on.
it's really believable that, and that's what I was getting
Mm,
at. Like it's really plausible plot line for something like this to happen. And obviously, as we've seen, within the 20 years, 30, nearly 30 years later, like
mm.
things like that have
It is 30
happened.
years this year.
It is 30 years, yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like it's 30 years old though. This movie, it doesn't.
No, no, it doesn't. No,
There's a
other than the
timelessness to
score,
this.
I would say dates it a little.
Oh, well, I
But
like
other
the
than that,
score. I'm gonna,
there's not.
yeah.
I'm not saying the score's bad. I'm just saying it is quintessentially 90s at its
You are
core,
right, yeah.
as is
But
the
then what?
film, really. But it is timeless in its own way.
But the rewatching thing is that it still makes me wonder what's going to happen even now. Like I always
Mhm.
think, oh, okay, maybe they will fire the nukes this time. What is going to happen? And but then it makes you think long after.
Maybe they won't have a small metal object to put in a hole in the hull.
Yeah, it's the earring, Dad. The earring. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, but it's just a great film. I mean, you can't. I don't think you can knock it. It's one of the '90s best blockbusters. In a '95 was a stacked year for films.
In a stacked year, The Simpsons chose Crimson Tide to do the most well-written episodes of season 9, where you've got stacked on stacked jokes, like the gif of the USSR coming back at the UN is from this
It's
episode.
really good.
The
Yeah.
the parodying of the mess scene where Homer walks in and like he makes whale noises, and then he's like, "I want peace." Yes, everyone wants peace. What's the best way to get
It's
peace? With
fab.
a knife. It's just so good. The torpedo attack, the classic crew speech in the rain bit, and the ending with the admirals are all referenced in that episode. One of the best Simpsons episodes, I think.
Great parodies only work if the thing they're based on is good.
That's true.
So
Mm.
that also to me is another reason why this movie is great, because then it allows those Simpsons writers to do that great parody. And there are some great Simpsons parodies, but it's yet another feather in its cap. And Rod Steiger is in that, by the way, so that's a really cool
Yeah,
little
yeah, he's the captain. Yeah, he's fired
reference,
out of a
little
torpedo
war
tube.
movie link. Yeah, it's brilliant. If you haven't seen Crimson Tide yet, it's on ITVX, it's on Disney Plus. You have no excuse, because you
Hmm.
can watch it for absolutely gratis. If you have an ITV account, you don't even need an account. You can just watch it. Brilliant. So that brings us on to this week's large question. So Matt asked the large question this week, and his large question was, who's the war movie character you love to hate? Now, we thought we'd get a sea of Uphams from Saving Private Ryan, but we didn't,
Yeah,
Matt. We
yeah.
didn't at all.
Ah,
Brian William goes the German general in the Bridget Remagen, who promises Major Kruger that he'll be given all the available support, yet does nothing. We've got Kerry Thomas says, seriously though, and it's Christoph Waltz as Hans Lander in Inglourious Bastards. That's a bingo! He's really good in that. He's great in
it
that.
is.
AD Bond says Ted Danson in SPR. I mean,
Yeah,
fair enough. So you didn't feel like blink and you'll miss it.
very specific. But if you
AD's not a Cheers fan. He's
not a
like, it's gone
Cheers
on
man,
too
yeah,
long. I miss Woody Harrelson. It's gone on too long. Um, Kerry
hated
Thomas
Becca when it
again.
came on.
Yeah. Kerry Thomas again. Put this bell end, and it's Nicolas Cage in Wind Talkies. Paul Burns goes Cadet Major Brian Morland, played by Timothy Hutton in Taps. Recently rewatched this. Character is out of his depth in trying to organise a siege to save the cadet school.
Very specific again. love
Very
it.
specific. We love these. Stuart Fitzel goes Sir Edward Matheson in The Wild Geese, played by Stuart Granger.
Oh,
What a shit. African Stalingrad goes Captain Zeller in The Sound of Music. Ian Mays, Lescavar in Force 10 from Navarone. You know he's Nicoli and does everyone else, but no one puts a bullet in him at the start.
the entire cast of the Force 10 from Navarone is
No,
no, I'm
no.
messing. No, I don't hate them all that much. I don't even love to hate them.
Christopher Leopardi goes Sergeant O'Neill had the backbone of a chocolate eclair. And then I think we'll round out with Harvey Griffith, who goes anyone for spaghetti, and it's Sobel from Band of Brothers. We salute the rank, not the man. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm only in this because I was in Friends. So Matt, your love to hate character.
Well, no one said it, so I'll go with Open. Why not?
Oh no, he's a misunderstood man. I'm not having
He
that.
is a misunderstood man. He is the human soul of that film.
He is. Yes, yes. I've got Gorman from Aliens. I see it as a war film. It's an armed film in space.
It is.
Just proper corporate bean counter. You know, he's out for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Doesn't give an iota about those Marines, and he goes out like an absolute bitch when Ramirez pulls the pin of the grenade and says, "You always were an arsehole, Gorman." It's great. Love it.
It's a great scene.
So that was Crimson Tide. If you haven't seen it, again, it's on ITVX. You can go and watch it completely free right now if you like.
We're not sponsored by ITVX, but
We're
if
not
they want
sponsored,
to,
but
I'm open
yeah,
to it.
please do. Please do.
Until then, please do check out our Patreon. You can find that on our website, fightingonfilm.com. Give that a look. Have a look on all the socials. We're on almost all of them. You can throw us into any of them, and if we're on there, we're on there. If we're not, we're not.
Yeah, and drop us a 5-star review if you would be so kind, and catch us next week for another war movie review.
And subscribe and follow us on YouTube. That's the one I was.
Yeah, please do that. Please, Matt's been furiously updating it. So if you want to go and drop us a follow on there, it'd be absolutely amazing of you. It's completely free as well, and it helps the pod, and it'll help us to make more long form content on the channel as well. If we can get it up to
gives
a
us
certain
impetus
number.
too, doesn't it?
Yes, really do. Really will. And yeah, so join us next week for another war movie review. We've been fighting on film. You've been the listeners. Catch you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.